the no vote now above yes, according to the most recent poll. Is there any point at which the Prime Minister might pull this thing if he knows it's going to head for a certain loss?
I think that's highly unlikely, Kieran. I think the debate's going to rev up as we get closer to the day of the referendum. I think the polls will come up and they'll go down depending on the strength of the arguments. I think it's always going to be a tough one for the yes vote for various reasons. But I don't think that they should resile from from strongly pressing it. And I think, in many ways, we've got to ask ourselves, well, how dramatic is it that the question that's being asked of people here to agree to a proposition that Aboriginal people who have basically historically been pretty much disregarded in this society have some voice to the Parliament and to the government? That seems to me to be a pretty anodyne proposition. And I think the government has to keep pushing that to the electorate and making it clear that we haven't solved all the problems for them in the past. Maybe it's time to give Aboriginal people more of a voice in how they can solve their issues.
Kerry Chikarovski, you've got about 30 seconds left, but if you're in the Yes campaign, you'd be worried.
Oh, absolutely, you'd be worried. And I don't often agree with Andrew Clennell, but let me say, I think cost of living pressures, he had that chart about interest rate rises and the corresponding reduction in support for the voice. I think that's not an unfair assumption to make. People are more concerned about how they're going to pay their bills and not concentrating on the voice. And the Voice campaign the Yes campaign haven't done themselves any favours. When you talk to people and you look at the polling, the number one issue is people do not understand what they're voting for. And until they understand it, I can tell you now, the default position in Australia will be to vote no. And I think that's really sad for the Yes campaign.
Kerry Chikarovski, Bruce Hawker, great to see you both. We'll catch you next week.